Ladies and gentlemen, stop waiting, stop hoping, stop wishing. The future you want isn't coming to you. You got to go take it. The first step to making your own future is ownership. You can't make your future while you're still blaming your past. You can't build greatness while pointing fingers at your family, your school, your boss, or the government. Listen to me. You've got to take full responsibility for your life. The 99% want sympathy. They want excuses. They want someone to feel sorry for them. But sympathy doesn't build your future. Sweet does. Excuses don't shape destiny. Execution does. Oh, you've got to wake up and say, if I fail, it's on me. If I succeed, it's on me. If my future is great, it's because I made it great. That's the mindset that separates builders from beggars. You know, the reason most people never step into their future is simple. They're too busy living in their past. They keep replaying old failures, old betrayals, old pain, but you can't drive forward staring in the rearview mirror. Your past is a classroom, not a prison cell. Learn from it and leave it. Your responsibility means you control what happens next. It means you no longer wait for luck. It means you stop asking for handouts. It means you stop praying for shortcuts. You've got to grind for your own. You got to wake up earlier, stay up later, work harder, think smarter, and never stop moving forward. People keep waiting for their future to arrive like it's a package in the mail. No, it's not Amazon Prime. Nobody is delivering your dreams. You've got to build your own delivery system. You've got to hustle every single day until the vision in your head becomes the reality in your hands. This is where it begins with responsibility. You own your grind. You own your habits. You own your mindset. You own your future. Stop looking for somebody else to do it for you. Stop crying about what you didn't get. Stop begging. Start building. If you want to make your own future, here's the truth. Nobody's coming. Nobody's saving you. Nobody's doing the work for you. It's all on you. And that's the greatest power you'll ever have. You don't make your future with good intentions. You don't make your future with dreams and vision boards. You make your future with discipline. You make it with structure. You make it with the ability to do the hard thing when you don't feel like it. You know, everybody wants success, but very few want the schedule of success. They want freedom, but they don't want structure. They want results, but they don't want routines. And that's why they fail. They keep living by feelings instead of systems. You know, the future doesn't belong to the emotional. It belongs to the discipline. The 99% hit the snooze button. The 5G already finished their workout. The 99% complain about not having time. The 5G has a calendar, a plan, an execution. The 500% waste their day scrolling. The 500 structures their day for productivity. That's the separation. If you want to make your own future, you've got to set a standard for yourself and then never break it. That means your alarm clock isn't optional. That means your goals aren't suggestions. That means your grind isn't negotiable. You stick to it whether you feel like it or not. You know, discipline is doing tired. Discipline is doing it tired. Discipline is doing it when it's boring. Discipline is doing it when nobody is watching. Discipline is building the structure that keeps you locked in, focused, and consistent. Look around. The people who stay stuck are those who can't stay consistent. They start, then they stop. They get excited, then they get lazy. They commit, then they quit. And then they wonder why their life never changes. You know, but the ones who rise, the ones who make their own future, they don't operate off moods. They operate off systems. They've got habits that carry them when their motivation dies. They've got structure. They've got structure that protects their goals when distraction attacks. They've got routines so strong that nothing can break them. If you want to be in control of your future, stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, did I schedule it? Stop leaving your success up to chance and start locking it into your daily habits. You don't get the future you want. You get the future you schedule. Right. And don't miss this. Discipline is freedom. The world tells you freedom is doing whatever you want. What? That's not freedom. That's slavery to impulses. Real freedom is being in control of yourself. Real freedom is being able to trust yourself to do the hard thing consistently. Real freedom is knowing your structure will get you where your feelings never could. Your future is built brick by brick, habit by habit, system by system. Don't wait for motivation. Build discipline. Don't wait for luck. Build structure. That's how you design your destiny. Before you can make your own future, you've got to see it. You can't build what you can't visualize. You can't chase what you can't define. That's why so many people stay stuck. They're running hard, but they don't even know where they're running to. They've got energy, but no direction. They've got grind, but no vision. Hey, listen to me. Your future requires clarity. The Joe are vague about what they want. They say, I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. But those are empty words. Success in what? Rich how? Happy where? If you can't define it, you can't create it. The Bifendery is specific. They see their future before it arrives. They know exactly what they're building. They don't just say, I want a better life. They say, I'm building a business that generates this much revenue. I'm living in this kind of environment. I'm leaving this kind of legacy. That's vision. That's clarity. You know, vision is not fantasy. Vision is a blueprint. When a builder starts a house, they don't just show up with wood and nails and say, let's figure it out. They have a plan. They know the dimensions, the foundation, the structure. Your future is the same. You got to architect it with intention. Clarity gives you power. When you know where you're going, distractions lose their grip. When you see your future clearly, temptation looks small. When your vision is sharp, obstacles don't stop you. They guide you. Every no becomes redirection. Every failure becomes feedback because you know exactly where you're headed. The Joe lie blurry. They wander from job to job, idea to idea, relationship to relationship because they don't have a clear picture of their future. And you cannot make your own future when you don't even know what you're making. You know, here's the truth. Your mind is a projector. Whatever movie you keep playing in your head is the life you're going to create. If you keep replaying failure, fear, and doubt, guess what? You'll build a future full of failure, fear, and doubt. But if you keep projecting vision, growth, and victory, your actions will align with that picture, and your life will reflect it. You know, clarity also means saying no. If it doesn't fit the vision, it doesn't get your time. If it doesn't move you forward, it doesn't get your energy. If it doesn't align with your future, it has no place in your present. That's how the Bifendery move. They don't chase everything. They chase their thing. You know, making your own future starts with asking the right questions. What do you want to build? Who do you want to become? What do you want to leave behind? Once you answer with clarity, your grind has direction, your hustle has purpose, and your discipline has meaning. You go, vision and clarity are the compass of your future. Without them, you're lost. With them, you're unstoppable. You cannot make your own future without giving something up. Write this down. The future costs you the present. The future you want is not free. It demands payment and sacrifice. Your time, your energy, your comfort, your habits, your entertainment, even some of the people around you. Eh? The Bifendery Joe want the reward without the cost. They want the dream without the discipline. They want the future without the sacrifice. That's why they stay average. They're not willing to let go of what's holding them back. You know, sacrifice means you stop living for comfort. Comfort is the killer of futures. Comfort makes you hit snooze instead of waking up. Comfort makes you scroll instead of studying. Comfort makes you binge instead of building. You can't live for comfort and build a destiny at the same time. You know, Elimination is the strategy. You've got to remove what doesn't serve your vision. You've got to eliminate toxic habits, eliminate wasted time, eliminate meaningless distractions. And sometimes elimination means people. People who don't push you. People who don't believe in you. People who drag you into drama. Listen to me. You can't take everybody into your future. Some people are only meant to be part of your past. The Bipinjari understand this. They sacrifice pleasure for purpose. They sacrifice now for later. They sacrifice what's easy for what's worth it. They're willing to give up parties, sleep, games, and distractions to build something greater. That's why they win. You think about it. Athletes sacrifice weekends, birthdays, and holidays for practice. Entrepreneurs sacrifice security, stability, and comfort to build businesses. Leaders sacrifice privacy, popularity, and peace to carry responsibility. That's the truth about the future. It doesn't come cheap. Sacrifice isn't punishment. It's investment. Every hour you sacrifice today multiplies into years of freedom tomorrow. Every distraction you eliminate today clears space for opportunity tomorrow. Every comfort you kill today makes you stronger for the battles you'll face tomorrow. And here's what most people don't get. Sacrifice is not forever. It's temporary. But the results of sacrifice are you might sacrifice entertainment for a few years, but you'll gain success for decades. You might sacrifice comfort now, but you'll gain freedom later. You might sacrifice approval today, but you'll gain respect tomorrow. Elimination is about subtraction for multiplication. You cut out what weakens you so you can multiply what strengthens you. You cut out what drains you so you can multiply what builds you. You cut out what distracts you so you can multiply what drives you. If you want to make your own future, you've got to be ruthless with your life, ruthless with your time, ruthless with your habits, ruthless with your environment, because the future belongs to those who are willing to let go of the good so they can grab hold of the great. Your future is waiting, but it's heavy. And you can't carry it if your hands are still full of dead weight. Sacrifice, eliminate, build. That's how you make your own future. The future doesn't belong to the thinkers. It belongs to the doers. Ideas don't build empires. Execution does. Goals don't create results. Action does. Dreams without action are hallucinations. If you want to make your own future, you can't just plan it. You can't just talk about it. You can't just pray for it. You've got to move on it. The 99% love to talk. They love to post quotes, make plans, draw charts, and announce their goals on social media. But talking isn't execution. Writing it down isn't execution. Buying a new planet isn't execution. You don't get credit for intentions. You get credit for actions. The Bipinjari G move different. They act fast. They act boldly. They act consistently. They don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They create momentum through execution. They understand that success doesn't come to the smartest. It comes to the fastest. It comes to the ones who take action when everyone else is still hesitating. Execution means you stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is seasonal. Execution is permanent. The Bipinjari know that feelings are irrelevant. Action is mandatory. They don't care if they're tired, broke, or scared. They move anyway. They've trained themselves to execute regardless of conditions. Listen to me. Your future won't be made in someday. It'll be made in today. Stop saying, I'll start tomorrow. Stop saying, I'll wait until next week. Stop saying, I'll do it when I feel ready. You'll never feel ready. The future doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. And if you hesitate, somebody else will take what was meant for you. Relentless execution means you do it daily. Not once a week, not when it's convenient, daily. The grind has to become a habit. You wake up, you execute. You get knocked down, you execute. You face resistance, you execute. You're sick, tired, frustrated, you still execute. That's how the Bifingeries separate themselves. They outlast because they out-execute. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they stop executing. They get bored, they get distracted, they get discouraged, and they quit. But the future doesn't reward the ones who start strong. It rewards the ones who finish relentless. Execution also means urgency. The Bifinger Joseph Joe move slow. They procrastinate, they overthink, they delay. But the Bifinger E move with urgency. They don't play around with time because they know time is the most valuable currency. Every day is an investment. Every minute is a decision. Every second is a chance to build or to waste. And relentless execution requires accountability. You can't just say you'll do it. You've got to measure it, track it, and prove it. That's what keeps you honest. That's what keeps you sharp. That's what keeps you moving. Your future is not waiting for your intentions. It's waiting for your execution. You want to write the book? Start writing. You want to build the business? Make the call. You want to transform your body? Go train. You want to change your life? Act now. Don't think executes. Because when you execute relentlessly, you build momentum. Momentum makes you unstoppable. Momentum makes small wins snowball into big victories. Momentum turns daily actions into lifelong transformation. No? So hear me clearly. The future doesn't belong to the dreamers. It belongs to the executors. Your future won't be easy. If it were easy, everybody would have it. The path to building your own future will break the weak. It will expose the fragile. It will test your limits, your patience, your faith, and your endurance. And if you don't have mental toughness, you won't make it. The Bifinger Joseph Joe fold under pressure. They hit one obstacle and quit. They face one rejection and retreat. They deal with one failure and start saying, maybe this isn't for me. That's why they stay stuck. They let temporary pain destroy permanent potential. The Bifingery respond differently. They take the punch, but they keep moving. They take the loss, but they learn. They take the rejection, but they refuse to be broken. The Bifingery don't run from pain. They use it. They don't avoid adversity. They grow through it. They understand that the storm isn't a sign to quit. It's a test to prove how bad you want it. Mental toughness means you stop treating challenges as curses and start treating them as classrooms. Every obstacle is a lesson. Every setback is a strategy. Every failure is feedback. The difference between the Bifinger Joseph Joe and the Bifingery isn't talent. It's resilience. Let's be real. Life will hit you. It will hit you harder than any coach, harder than any boss, harder than any critic. Life will test your patience, your confidence, your resolve. And if you're soft, you'll fold. But if you're mentally tough, you'll take the hit, adjust, and keep grinding. Resilience is what keeps you in the game when everyone else is tapping out. It's the ability to stay locked in when you're tired, stay focused when you're frustrated, stay committed when you're discouraged. It's the refusal to let circumstances decide your future. Your future can demand resilience because nothing great comes without resistance. The higher you climb, the stronger the opposition. The closer you get, the tougher the fight. That's why mental toughness isn't optional. It's essential. The Bifinger Joseph Joe waste energy complaining about pain. The Bifingery channel pain into power. They don't ask, why me? They ask, how can I use this? That shift is everything. It turns victims into victors and failures into fuel. You got to train your mind like you train your body. Build endurance, strengthen your focus, condition your thoughts. Just like muscles grow under pressure, your mind grows under challenge. Every time you refuse to quit, you build mental calluses that make you stronger for the next battle. I understand this mental toughness isn't about never feeling weak. It's about pushing forward even when you do. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you don't surrender to it. You might bend, but you don't break. You might stumble, but you don't stop. The future belongs to the resilient, the ones who get knocked down 7 times and rise 8, the ones who refuse to let failure have the final word, the ones who use every trial as training for triumph. If you want to make your own future, you've got to toughen up. You've got to stop folding, stop running, stop crying over what's hard. You've got to embrace the grind, embrace the pressure, embrace the pain, and let it make you unstoppable. Because the truth is simple. The tougher the mind, the greater the future. Your future is not just shaped by what you do. It's shaped by who and what you surround yourself with. You can have drive, you can have discipline, you can have vision, but if your environment is toxic, if your circle is draining you, if your atmosphere is pulling you backward, you will never build the future you're capable of. See? The Pfeiffinger Joe underestimate the power of environment. They try to grow in dead soil. They try to rise while surrounded by people who want to stay down. They keep relationships out of loyalty, not alignment. And then they wonder why they can't elevate. The Pfeiffinger are ruthless about their environment. They understand that association is destiny. If you run with losers, you learn loser habits. If you walk with quitters, you adopt quitting as a mindset. If you spend your time with complainers, you'll start complaining. The future doesn't care about your intentions. It mirrors your environment. You want to build your own future? Audit your circle. Audit your conversations. Audit your atmosphere. Who has your ear? Who influences your thinking? Who speaks into your life? Because the people you listen to will shape the actions you take. Environment is everything. A seed doesn't grow in concrete. It needs good soil, sunlight, and water. You are no different. If you're planted in negativity, if you're surrounded by distractions, if you're immersed in mediocrity, you will never grow into greatness. The Pfeiffinger Joe stay stuck because they're afraid to outgrow people. They're scared to cut ties. They don't want to be the different one. So they settle for comfort zones. They accept small talk. They tolerate low standards. And in the process, they suffocate their own future. The Pfeiffinger aren't afraid to be the odd one out. They're not afraid to outgrow their old environment. They're not afraid to leave the circle that doesn't align with where they're going. They'd rather walk alone toward their future than stay surrounded by a crowd that keeps them in the past. Listen to me. Your energy is contagious, and so is theirs. If you're around people who are always doubting, always criticizing, always making excuses, that mindset will rub off on you. But if you're around people who dream big, who push harder, who hold you accountable, who call you out when you're slacking, that energy will lift you. Making your own future requires protecting your environment like your life depends on it. Because it does. Guard your focus. Guard your space. Guard your associations. You don't owe access to everyone. You don't owe your energy to people who drain it. You don't owe your time to people who waste it. You owe your future the discipline of building an environment that feeds it. You owe yourself the standard of surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to become who you're supposed to be. Because here's the truth. Your environment can be your prison, or it can be your launch pad. Your associations can be your anchor, or they can be your fuel. Your circle can drain your future, or it can drive it. So if you want to make your own future, don't just work on your goals, work on your environment. Don't just train your mind, train your circle. Don't just build discipline, build an atmosphere of growth. Because the future belongs to those who protect their space, elevate their associations, and refuse to let their environment sabotage their destiny. Your future won't be built in one moment. It'll be built in thousands of small decisions stacked day after day. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Discipline may start the fire, but consistency keeps it burning. The Pfeiffinger Joe love short bursts. They work hard for a week, then take 2 weeks off. They're passionate for a month, then lose focus. They make promises in January, and by February, those promises are broken. They don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack consistency. The Bifinger are relentless. They show up when it's boring. They show up when no one's watching. They show up when the results are invisible. They understand that greatness isn't built in the highlight reel. It's built in the quiet, daily grind that nobody claps for. Nope. Consistency means you keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. Success is rarely instant. It's compound interest on daily effort. It's the accumulation of small habits that stack up over time. The workout you didn't want to do, the book you forced yourself to read, the call you didn't feel like making, the extra hour you put in. That's how futures are built. You know, the Bifinger Joe stop because they don't see results fast enough. They quit because it feels slow. They want microwave success, but the future is cooked in a slow cooker. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes relentless repetition. The Bifinger trust the process. They know if they plant the seed and water it daily, the harvest will come. They don't dig it up every week to check if it's growing. They commit to the routine. They commit to the grind. They commit to the habits that build momentum. You know, listen, habits make or break futures. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your daily routine is sloppy, your future will be sloppy. If your daily habits are strong, your future will be strong. Your future is hidden in what you do repeatedly, not occasionally. Consistency requires patience. It requires trust in delayed gratification. It requires faith that your effort today is a deposit into a future account that will pay out later. Every day you show up, you're stacking bricks. You may not see the building yet, but keep stacking. And one day the structure will stand. Yeah. The Bifinger Joe, look for hacks, shortcuts, and secrets. The Bifinger master repetition. They're not trying to get it quick. They're trying to get it right. They know that greatness is built on routines that look ordinary but produce extraordinary outcomes. Consistency is also about identity. You can't just do the action. You've got to become the person. Don't just run occasionally. Become a runner. Don't just write sometimes. Become a writer. Don't just grind when it's convenient. Become the type of person who grinds daily. Your future will not be shaped by the goals you set, but by the habits you live. And those habits don't care about how you feel. They care about whether you show up. Right? So stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting for the spark. Build habits, build routines, build consistency. Right? Because when you master consistency, you don't just make progress. You make your future inevitable. Right? The future belongs to those who do it daily, who repeat the process when it's boring, who stay faithful to the grind when no one else is watching. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's undefeated. You know? And if you want to make your own future, you've got to make consistency your lifestyle. The greatest barrier to your future isn't the competition. It isn't your circumstances. It isn't the economy. It isn't your past. The biggest barrier to your future is you not believing in yourself. You know, the Bifinger Joe wait for outside validation. They need approval before they move. They need recognition before they take action. They wait for someone to tell them they're good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. And because of that, they never step into the fullness of their future. The Bifinger move differently. They don't wait for permission. They give themselves permission. They don't wait for applause. They create results. They don't wait for someone else to crown them. They crown themselves through work, through belief, through relentless confidence in who they are becoming. You know, self-belief is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's the understanding that you were built with purpose, that you were designed with ability, and that your potential isn't up for debate. When you believe in yourself, you move with authority. You move with confidence. You move with certainty. Your future requires a level of belief that refuses to bend under pressure, because you will face doubters. You will face critics. You will face people who can't see what you see. And if you don't have belief, their voices will drown yours out. But when belief is locked in, you keep moving, even when no one else sees the vision. The Bifinger Joel let fear control them. They believe more in their weaknesses than their strengths. They focus more on their failures than their opportunities. They give more energy to their insecurities than their possibilities. The Bifinger choose faith over fear. They may not have it all figured out, but they believe in their ability to figure it out. They may not have all the resources, but they believe they can create them. They may not know how the door will open, but they believe that if they keep knocking, it will. Understand this. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a muscle. You build it through repetition. You build it by showing up, taking action, and proving to yourself that you can. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you keep pushing when you wanted to quit, your belief deepens. Self-belief requires you to rewrite your story. Stop telling yourself you're average. Stop telling yourself you're unlucky. Stop telling yourself you're not capable. Words shape your mindset, and mindset shapes your future. If you keep speaking doubt, you'll keep living doubt. If you start speaking belief, you'll start living belief. Your future will not wait for you to feel ready. You've got to move in faith. Confidence isn't about already having it. It's about acting before you do. It's about trusting yourself to rise to the occasion. It's about betting on yourself when no one else is willing to. The Bifinger Joel shrink in the face of uncertainty. The Bifinger expand. They don't run from challenges. They believe they're built for them. They don't avoid risk. They believe they can handle it. They don't see failure as final. They believe it's feedback. That mindset is what builds the future. Listen, nobody else can give you belief. Nobody else can inject confidence into you. You got to develop it. You got to speak it. You've got to claim it. You've got to fight for it daily until it becomes who you are. Because the truth is simple. Your future will rise or fall to the level of your self-belief. If you believe small, you'll build small. If you believe big, you'll create big. If you believe in limitations, you'll live in limitations. If you believe in possibilities, you'll live in possibilities. The foundation of making your own future is believing without doubt that you have the power to shape it. Making your own future isn't just about you. It's about what comes after you. It's about building something so strong, so unshakable, that it outlives your lifetime. Legacy is the highest level of future. The Bifinger Joel think short term. They only think about today. They chase comfort. They chase quick wins. They chase temporary satisfaction. When they're gone, there's nothing left behind. No impact, no blueprint, no example. Their names fade as quickly as their effort did. The Bifinger live for something bigger. They understand that the true measure of success is not what you take, but what you leave. They don't just grind for income. They grind for influence. They don't just work for achievement. They work for alignment with purpose. They don't just make a living. They make a mark. Legacy means every move you make, every sacrifice, every decision is not just about you. It's about the next generation. It's about your family, your community, your name. It's about creating a future so powerful that people you will never meet are impacted by it. The Bifinger Joel waste time. The Bifinger invest time. They know every day is a deposit into their legacy account. Every action today becomes history tomorrow. Every effort today becomes a testimony tomorrow. That's why they live with intention. That's why they move with urgency. Impact means you stop asking, what can I get? And you start asking, what can I give? You stop living only for survival and start living for significance. Because when it's all said and done, people won't remember what you had. They'll remember what you gave, who you lifted, and how you lived. You know, making your own future requires understanding that you're not just building a life. You're building a story. And that story will either inspire or it will be forgotten. Every choice you make is a sentence. Every habit you live is a chapter. And together they write the book of your legacy. You know, the Bifinger Joseph Joel died full of regrets because they never thought beyond themselves. The Bifinger died empty because they gave it all, poured it out, and left a path for others to follow. That's the future worth fighting for. Your future is not just your destiny. It's your responsibility. What will your children inherit from you? What example will your name carry? What blueprint will your life leave? That is the real question. You know, legacy is built through consistency, discipline, sacrifice, resilience, execution, and belief. All the things we've talked about. Legacy is the ultimate outcome of all of them combined. And once you understand that, you stop wasting days. You stop living average. You stop making excuses. Right? Because when you live with legacy in mind, you build a future that doesn't end when your clock runs out. It begins. You know, so understand this. The ultimate future isn't just about success. It's about succession. It's about passing the torch, leaving the mark, and ensuring that when your time is up, your work is still alive. That's the highest level of making your own future, building a legacy that outlives you. And I've heard it all: ownership, discipline, vision, sacrifice, execution, toughness, environment, consistency, belief, and legacy. Now the question is simple. What are you going to do with it? Don't just sit here motivated. Move. Don't just nod your head. Act. Don't just say that was powerful. Make power moves in your life. Now, the Bifinger Joseph Joel will close this video and go back to average. The Bifinger will close this video and shift their life. Which one are you? No? Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop procrastinating. The time is now. Your future is not in somebody else's hands. It's in yours. Write it. Build it. Live it. Leave a legacy with it. So get up. Get moving. Get grinding. And don't you dare stop until the world feels your impact, because the future is not given. The future is made, and it's time for you to make yours.